I'm really tired today. January is proving to be a little bit stressful. My whole body is aching because yesterday I spent 14 hours building and assembling a lot of furniture for my office, including a motorized standing desk, which I really desperately needed because my back keeps hurting very badly. And I work at this computer for about 10 hours minimum every day. So this was very necessary. Let's move back down. That desk is not the only thing I did. The other thing I got done was these shelves behind me right here. So this shelf was already here. This is where I keep all of my terrain. There's some cool graveyard stuff I want to get to in a later video. And so this was already here. I went ahead and over the new year bought 2 additional shelves for this space. Before this, there used to be a pretty large wardrobe right here, which used to go to about where I'm standing now. And that took up a lot of space and it wasn't super efficient. And also it didn't look very nice. Yeah, this is just way more efficient. I didn't have a space for these very nice sorters. I love these. These are great. You can get take these little containers, put stuff in there. Some of my turnip army is currently in here, just kind of as like a temporary storage while I'm working on them. And in these ones, I've got bases of different sizes. So you can see right here, this one says 25mm forest, and inside I've got a bunch of resin bases with like bits attached, and these are Dungeons and Lasers Archon Studio bases that I got off of their Kickstarter a while back. And these go up all the way to 60 and 80 millimeter FDM printed bases. I've shown this in a previous video, but yeah, this is much nicer now. This stuff, these are all of the boxes that I got from the Dungeons and Lasers Dias Lair campaign by Archon Studio a while back. These are just completely filled with plastic sprues full of miniatures. They're amazing, and I like being able to have them all fit on these shelves now. It's very easy to find what you're looking for because you just pull it out, and then on this side you can kind of see all of the minis that are in there. Yeah, so really happy with this. It was a lot of work though. I also added this shelf over here. This is new, and I had to move this one out of the way. So now my books up there have got some space. Got an opportunity to put this beautiful piece of art up there that I got at Camping Kit Bash. This is something for an upcoming video, a little spoiler. And of course we've got all of the lovely channel memories up there on the wall. And I'll get to that at the end of the video because we're gonna do something with this. In my cabinet, you can see the finished turnip models are in my very dusty old cabinet, waiting for the rest of the army to arrive. One of you asked about maybe get a cabinet tour in an upcoming video. We can definitely do that. I'd be up for that. If you'd be interested in a video like that, let me know in a comment. All of that to explain why I'm tired today. So for today's video, I thought we could do a very relaxed AMA where I answer some of your questions, some of them hobby related, some of them related to the channel. And so I went on Instagram and I asked you for your questions. We actually did this twice because I didn't get to answer the last questions. If you'd like to participate in these, there are 2 ways you can do this. Either you can just follow me on Instagram and wait for me to do an AMA in my stories. You could also become a member of this channel by clicking the join button down below, and that will let you choose one of 3 tiers, and all of those tiers will get you access to the Lodge, which is our Discord server where I'm trying to build like a little community of like-minded hobbyists and painters, and you can share your projects there and ask me questions. I'm on there all the time, and that is probably the easiest way to get a direct message across to me. So even on the lowest tier, you get access to that Discord server if you'd like. If you join the Disciple tier or higher, you also get access to exclusive members-only videos. The first one of which is already up. If you sign up right now, you can go watch that. It's a 2.5 hour long video where me and my brother rate all of the Stormcast Eternals models in a tier list. It's kind of like a more relaxed podcast-esque format, and it's like hanging out with two guys and looking at miniatures for 2.5 hours. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, maybe consider becoming a member. It really, really helps the channel and brings me closer to my dream of being able to do this full-time.
Yeah, they look in control.
Yeah, and these ones just look like dumpster babies.
Little babies, yeah. They look like dumpster babies.
Hello White Star Minis, my question is, if you have any tips to stop with AI or maybe for using it less? And this person does have an AI profile picture. I don't know if you're serious. If you are, and you actually are wanting to stop using AI, but you're finding it difficult for whatever reason, I would say don't be afraid to challenge yourself. I know that convenience can be very tempting, and it can be very nice to click one button and get exactly what you think you want. But I think you will find that if you actually put effort into something and you go through a little bit of a trial and hardship phase and you sort of learn a new skill, that the experience you will get from actually doing that has so much more depth to it than whatever the quick solution will be. And this does not just go for AI, this goes for like any shortcut in life, basically. Going the long way around can be really, really rewarding. In Germany, we like to say, der Weg ist das Ziel, which means the journey is the goal. You're supposed to enjoy the experience of doing it and not just the result of getting there in the end. You don't take a helicopter to go to the top of the mountain and then say you've hiked the mountain, right? Because you will miss out on all of the experiences that mountain has to offer you. And so I would say, don't be afraid to be inconvenienced. What do you think are the most beautiful things and the most toxic things about this hobby? That's a good one. I think the most beautiful thing about this hobby is the community. And I've said this time and time again, but I think people who do creative work and do art, they tend to isolate themselves and get consumed by their work sometimes. And having like-minded people around you that share the same joys and passions, that is a beautiful thing. And that is what leads to movements being created, and that is what leads to political activism. Being able to surround yourself with fellow hobbyists and get inspired by their work, that's, I think, the most beautiful thing. The most toxic thing, we've talked about this before, there's a lot of sexist, chauvinistic, old white guys in this hobby who want to gatekeep their Space Marine toy soldiers, and I think they're amongst the most toxic. I'm sure there's worse, there's racists, there's transphobes. These all exist in this hobby. This is a very male-dominated hobby. Most of you watching this are male. I think only like 2% of you are not, according to YouTube statistics. So you know, there's a lot of guys and dudes in this hobby, and guys and dudes can be toxic. And the way for us to get through that and get past that is for you to call it out when you see it happening, and for you to tell your friends that their jokes aren't funny. What inspires you in life and also specifically for the hobby? I think inspiration comes from so many places. For me, inspiration as a kid often came from going through big picture books with fantastical creatures in it, right? So this, for example, is the 2014 D&D Monster Manual. It's got lots of images of fantasy creatures and monsters in here, and you can read all about them, and this is the kind of stuff that I really enjoy. I've got this, bonus points if you know what this is. This is the official Spiderwick guidebook or handbook by T. Ditalizzi and Holly Black, and they have done an incredible job sort of illustrating this fantastical realism side of fantasy, where fantasy creatures sort of live right next door and coexist in the same space as you do. I mean, look at this. This is so beautiful. It's this is what got me into like fantasy creature anatomy and trying to like design my own creatures, right? And then from like a lore world building perspective, there's stuff like Vermis, which is incredible. You may have heard about this before. It's sort of a handbook for a game that doesn't exist, and it is filled with fantastic, really, really special illustrations. And it's got these beautiful scenarios that kind of describe levels and regions of this dark fantasy, sort of Dark Souls-esque, medieval sword and sorcery RPG that's not real. But also video games will inspire me a lot, and for this hobby specifically, I just get inspired by seeing other people's work. I love going on Instagram and seeing the beautiful paint jobs that other people within my niche have applied to their minis and kind of seeing new techniques and stuff like that. I think good inspiration will be something personal to you, something that is not just an experience, but it has been filtered through you as a being and kind of been made into something personal. I hope that answers your question. Favorite sci-fi fantasy films, games, and video games. You may have noticed I'm not really that big into sci-fi. I do enjoy sci-fi stories. I think my favorite sci-fi short story, I think it's called The Jaunt by Stephen King. It's like a short story about like space travel. It's really good. I really like that. Just interjecting really quickly to say that I also really rate The Three-Body Problem by Liu Cixin and also Solaris by Stanislav Lem, which is one of my favorite sci-fi novels ever. I liked Star Wars as a kid. I really liked Andor. I thought it was great. For me, sci-fi often lacks the warmth and the heart that fantasy will have, and I think that is Tolkien's influence on the genre, where sci-fi can feel cold and it's often dystopian and it's a little bit closer to home, and that makes it less appealing to me as like an escapist fantasy, right? So when I do my hobby, I want to be immersed in a world that is better than ours, and most sci-fi stories are the same or worse. So if you have a good utopian sci-fi recommendation, let me know. Any pro tips to start hobby Instagram? Man, I don't think I'm the one to ask, because my Instagram, first of all, is not very big, and second of all, I only started my Instagram as a means for me to connect with people when I went to the first camping kit bash, and so I never meant for it to be like anything more than like, hey, look, these are the minis I painted. Here they all are in like one convenient place. And you can follow me for when I paint some new ones. And so we can stay in touch. That being said, I think there is something to say for starting your Instagram, not with a goal in mind, but just for yourself, and with the genuine intention of just connecting with like-minded people. And that is what I've been doing with this YouTube channel, and I think it's been working. And thank you all so much for watching. And so I would say, just do you, boo. What is your favorite and least favorite video? I'm assuming you're talking about my own videos. I think my Alive Internet Theory video is an important one, and it's sort of like the core of my philosophy here on the channel. If you haven't seen that one yet, I would recommend that one. But I think a really underrated one that sort of flew under the radar was my video going on a weird hike to refuel my hobby, where I went to the Devil's Hill here in Berlin with my partner on my birthday. And I sort of document that. And it's a very special hill because it's a hill made from rubble after the war. And so beneath your feet is like hundreds and thousands of houses where people used to live. So there's literally like half a town buried underneath your feet. And I talk about how that feels and what that means. And I think that's a really cool video. My worst video. The video that I like the least out of my own videos is maybe my coverage of Spiel in Essen, just because I felt like that event had such a big impact on me and it was such an experience, and I didn't really get to convey every thought that I wanted to convey, and I didn't really get to talk about it all, because making the video I think it deserved to be would have taken like a month, and I didn't want to spend that much time on it. So I think it's still a good video, but it's not the best it could have been. All these colorful washes, do you make them? So I don't pre-make my own washes. I don't have like a jar of like black wash somewhere, but most of my washes are Citadel. And I've also got some other brands. This one's Army Painter. But yeah, I mostly just use these ones, which are just the Citadel shades. But one important caveat being you can just mix your own washes on the fly whenever you need one. So what I do is I just buy these pots of medium, and then you can just mix your normal acrylic paints with some medium. You could also just mix those with some varnish, or even some water. You can add like a tiny drop of like dish soap in there to get rid of the surface tension, and make sure that you use distilled water if you want maximum control. Yeah, making washes is super easy. You just got to get the consistency right. Also, you can use contrast paints as washes if you just add, again, some medium. So hope that helps. Places to 3D print STL in Berlin or online. I have been sampling some different places that offer 3D printing in Berlin, and I've been trying out their services, and I'm working on some other stuff. So far, all of them have had pros and cons. When I find the perfect one, I'll let you know. Hopefully they'll be a sponsor of the channel. So sorry, no clear answer yet. Most fulfilling gaming session of 2025. Whew, that's rough. What have I even played? I mostly play D&D these days. I have played some Turnip, I've played some Fishing 28, I've played some Brawl Arcane. Those were all really fun. But I think role-playing sessions, they tend to have the most impact. Also because I DM, and so I just spend a lot of time preparing. We had a really good D&D session a few weeks ago, which was really fun. A friend of mine helped me prepare the session, and we wrote a story for it, and I had my own minis prepared for it with our own stat blocks, and it was like a little self-contained sort of a horror story with like a Witcher-esque style quest. And I think it was really good, and I might make that into like a standalone little D&D adventure as like a one-shot you can run with your group. If you would be interested in that, let me know, and I might make a video out of it, if that sounds cool to you. Favorite piece of art? Man, I don't know. Oh, I couldn't pick one. I just couldn't pick one. All of them. If someone's making art, that's my favorite thing. Are you planning to come to the UK for Sprue or any other events outside Germany in 2026? So I am planning on going to the UK in 2026, and I am planning on going to Sprue. If you're in the UK and you'd like to meet up sometime before Sprue, I'll probably be in the UK for like 3 weeks, kind of traveling around a little bit, meeting some people, just on vacation with my partner. And I'd like to meet up with as many people as possible. So yeah, I've got some special stops planned on the way. I might vlog some of that and then release that after Sprue. We'll see. Maybe I'll see some of you at Sprue. I'd love to. That would be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. I love your videos. Thank you. What is your typical workflow? Oh, I love your videos too, by the way. What is your typical workflow when making them? Okay, so it's sort of still in development, and I am constantly refining it and making it better and quicker. Usually I'll have an idea for a video. I try to start with like a title and a thumbnail and like an idea for a video in mind, but sometimes I just make a video and then make it up afterwards. Usually I will start by recording an intro, which means placing my camera where it is right now and talking to that camera. I've got this microphone, which is clipped to my t-shirt, and it plugs into my phone. So I'm recording my voice on my phone, and then I'll just record some talking head shots, and then I will record whatever the video is. So if I'm filming something where I'm working on some minis, I do it over at this desk. And so here I've got this light, and I've got this arm. I've recently upgraded this rig, so all of my lighting and camera stands now have these quick release locks, so it's easier to switch gear. Super nerdy stuff. But so I will fix my camera into this position, and then I'll paint on the desk, and this will just film. And usually I won't talk during this, I won't be mic'd up. And then when I'm done painting, I take the camera and I place it back into this space. I will record an outro, and then when that's done, I'll put my turntable on my desk and film like a little turnaround for the stuff that I've worked on in that video. And then the light in the back just died because I'm taking too long filming this. I'll plug in my SD card and start editing. That's my usual workflow. Have you tried to sculpt your own miniature? How did it go? I have done. It went well, I think, but I painted them all, so I can't mold and cast them, but I do want to sculpt some of my own miniatures in the future and actually have like a little production run of them and have it so that you guys can maybe buy them. I have no concrete plans for that though. This is one of the miniatures that I sculpted in super Sculpey and Milliput, and then I just painted it directly. So this is a roper for D&D, and I sculpted this little nasty goblin man as well, which is also the same materials. He's a little bit tall, but I quite like how he turned out. What first got you into the hobby? I've talked about this before. What got me into the hobby was White Dwarf and Games Workshop, and seeing all the amazing painted miniatures in the painting guides by Citadel. Okay, I think that's all that I have time for today. There are some questions still that I haven't gotten around to answering yet. We'll do those in the next video. I would like to officially thank Philip Will U4U and PressPlay167 for joining the channel at the level of white, which means that both of you get to spiritually inhabit one of my miniatures and live permanently on my shelf in the background of my videos. And so, Philip, for you, I have chosen this undead musician playing a solemn tune on a branch. And PressPlay, for you, I have chosen this elf ranger. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me, and I really hope you enjoyed our first exclusive video. Now let's get you on that shelf.